Welcome to Ceritalah Malaysia. My name is Karim Raslan. Over the next 13 weeks, we'll be crisscrossing the country, talking to Malaysians of all races, religions, male and female. The idea being to collect their stories and to check, does the grand Malaysian narrative work still? And whether in this critical election year, our 50th year as well, does Malaysia still make sense? So join me, Ceritalah Malaysia on Astro Awani every Monday evening. Ceritalah really started, the idea came from two places really. One was this idea, my father used to call the men from the kampung to come and have coffee with him, and then he would say, Ceritalah, tell me what's going on. And so that was always in my mind. And at the same time, there's a painter, Latif Muhyiddin, when I was chatting with him, this is nearly 20 years ago, about what to call the column, he said, you should call it Ceritalah. Just be straightforward, you are telling stories. So that's how the column came into form. And now it's run in English in The Star, it's run in Mandarin in Sinchu Daily, and it's run in Bahasa Malaysia in Sinaharian, as well as in Indonesia in English and in Indonesian, different versions. I'm a believer that we must talk to people in their languages, and also the idea that all people's stories, all Malaysian stories, are of equal importance. How then do we get this grand Malaysian narrative, if only by listening to all the small stories and bringing them together? So in a way, that's what I'm doing. We're here at the beginning, covering Kuala Kangsar, Bandar Diraja, my father's hometown. I'm here for three reasons. First off, to tell you a little about my own personal story. There should be full disclosure after all. And secondly, to explain the genesis of Ceritalah, my column, which now appears in 3 different newspapers, in English, in Malay, and also in Mandarin, as well as versions in Indonesian. And then finally, to introduce you all to an old family friend, Raja Johanis, a contemporary of my father's, and also her son, who is a tukang besi, and a sculptor, much like myself. And his name is Raja Shariman. Come, let's go and have a look. Father was born in Kuala Kangsar, educated here, but he grew up with his uncle who spoilt him a great deal, lived in Kota Lama, gave him unlimited credit at the booksellers, so he was able to read a great deal, studied hard, won a scholarship to the UK. He wanted to be a lawyer, but ended up being an accountant, and as it happened, became one of the first accountants in Malaysia. He returned to Malaysia later with my mother, who was English, and rose very quickly through the civil service and business, and in turn set up all sorts of Bumiputra institutions such as Mara, Pernas, Bank Bumi, but then died very young. He died 10 years younger than I am now. I'm 49, he was 39 when he died. And the interesting thing is he's buried literally 2 minutes away from where he grew up. So the journey in life is very short, and we shouldn't forget that. And I always like to come back here and just kind of remind myself that however far I travel, I inevitably will also be returned, if not to Kuala Kangsar, but definitely dikebumikan and brought back. I suppose my links now are very much driven by memory and by the imagination. I've written a great deal about the connection between the land and the city, the move from the land, the kampungs to the city. And so the Kuala Kangsar of my mind is as much a Kuala Kangsar of the imagination. And I've written an unpublished novel, much of which is set around a town that looks and feels a great deal like Kuala Kangsar. It represents to me a very Malay core, something which is still inextricably part of who and what I am. I speak English like an Englishman, and I speak Bahasa a bit like an Indonesian, but at the heart I'm still a Malay, and this is the world I come from. Many of my friends in Kuala Lumpur are from Perak as well, and I still feel a kinship. And that's something you can't lose. You carry it with you. We're here with Raja Johanis, who's an old friend of my father's and the mother of Raja Shariman, the sculptor. So, Mangku, tell us about apa ni zaman dulu. Mak Ungku cerita tadi tentang masih ingat zaman dulu naik basikal pergi ke Kota Lama, ketemu sama bapa saya, dan bapa saya dulu datang sini sering.
Masa mak Ungku sekolah kecil-kecil, kawan baik dengan bapa Karim. Kita orang kalau hari raya ke apa ke, parents lain asyik. Mak aku budak-budak semua cycle pergi Kota Lama, and bapa dia pun cycle datang sini untuk celebrate hari raya. Kawan baik masa sekolah sampailah dia pergi mengaji dah.
Pergi England, pergi London. Itu tahun 50-an.
Barulah lost contact. Sehingga sekarang jumpa balik anak dia.
For me, she's a very special lady. She's a lady with great charm, rooted in the past, delightful, and a memory, a very pleasant memory.
Dalam Bukit Candan.
Tapi Mak Ungku sudah duduk di rumah ini sejak tahun berapa?
Sejak tahun 40-an.
That's nearly 60 years, ya? 60, 70 years, ya? 70 tahun, ya? Dan pada tahun 40-an, apakah semua ini hutan atau sudah ada rumah pada waktu?
Tak ada rumah lagi. First rumah Mak Ungku. Rumah sana tak ada, rumah ni semua tak ada. Rumah belakang pun kecil-kecil. Rumah ini the biggest lah. First in Bukit Candan. Pasal rumah di Candan ni untuk royal family sahaja. Dan Mak Ungku tu cicitnya Sultan Abdullah. Di KL, keluar rumah pun kena kunci gate. Sini jalan suatu orang pun siapa pun tak peduli. Tak ada takut. Boleh pergi mana pun. Pintu boleh buka the whole day, siapa tak masuk.
Really? Selamat seperti itu?
Selamat.
So you don't have any, tak ada kayak regrets tak pindah ke KL?
Tak ada.
Tak ada, ya?
Tak pernah ingat nak pindah KL. Ada anak ada ajak duduk KL, tapi Mak aku tak nak. Mak aku tu sampai mati Mak aku duduk sini. Shariman pun ada
di sini, dia boleh jaga.
Dia pun ada.
Hi everyone, we're here with Shariman in his bengkel. It is really pretty hot actually, yeah? And I am sweating already. Shariman is used to this. Now when I first visited him 15 years ago, the bengkel was just in here. And then Shariman used to work with materials which were taken from the car engine. Tell me more about the process. Why do you use new steel like this now?
Metal plate sebenarnya untuk nak buat arca baru ni, ini antara proses yang saya gunakan metal plate sebab dia dapatkan satu form. Saya boleh buat satu form yang besar melalui pieces yang kecil. So actually dia punya technically, kalau kita nak construct forging punya teknik, untuk forge satu benda untuk jadikan satu barang yang besar tak boleh. So kena guna pieces kecil.
Jadi dengan banyak yang kecil bisa jadikan yang
besar. So itu antara proses technically proses yang saya develop untuk nak buat sculpture yang besar melalui pieces yang kecil.
There's a kind of integrity with it. It's really work. Man sendiri yang bikin dengan tangan sendiri. This is real tukang work. This is what real work is about.
Man tak pernah Dan memang tak pernah ada betul-betul pembantu atau ni lah. Satu semua boleh katakan sendiri lah.
Ini seperti ada integriti yang sebab orang yang buat kerja dengan tangan sendiri.
Ya.
Sekarang jarang ada orang yang buat gini.
Betul.
Ya. Rasa puas ya. Tapi Mak, why do you dengan yang ini ada potong seperti ini?
Yang ini untuk
senang lipat.
Ya, untuk nak dapatkan lipatan lah.
Ya. There's a real sense of satisfaction. This is a man who works with materials in an age when so many people don't use their hands, don't use their brains. And I like to feel I work with words, I'm moving them around. I'm a tukang. And I like him because he's got no embarrassment about being a tukang, but unless you're a tukang, you can't move to the next level of being an artist or a seniman. So that's why I have great respect for him, and also staying here and creating his own world here and his own life here. One thing is, everything changes. And as everything changes, old homes, which I've kind of grown up with visiting, have been knocked down, have been sold. So it's also quite a sad journey. And some of it is seeing how my past is being obliterated. But the more that happens, the more I realize it's a past that's in my mind that's important, and in my imagination, and the importance of me writing it out. So inshallah, I will write it out. It's my perspective. Whether or not anyone else chooses to believe it or follow it, that's their call.